Hi, I'm Hannah, founder of Love to Dream. In this episode, our wonderful midwife extraordinaire, Edwina, is going to run through some of the things that can happen in the first few weeks with a newborn and tips on how you can manage these.
For many parents, the first 4 to 6 weeks after birth can be relatively calm. Your baby seems to sleep a lot. They move through the day and night, sleeping and feeding. Then around the 6-week mark, sometimes a little earlier, sometimes a little later, it's like kapow. Out of nowhere, your baby wakes up and has increasing periods where they cry and become unsettled. And it can be a shock. It was all going pretty well. 6 weeks is a new developmental stage, so there is a reason for this change in your baby, and it's easy to panic. It's not unusual for parents to start feeding, holding, rocking their baby to sleep, and to get them to sleep at this point. But these techniques can start to create habits that interfere with a baby learning to self-soothe. With the increased fussiness and crying, you might even start thinking your baby has reflux or colic or wind because they seem so unsettled. In some instances, they might, but in most cases, it's more likely that your baby just isn't getting enough sleep. When babies aren't sleeping enough, you start to see all those sort of fun things like frequent crying and irritability. Your baby can't fall asleep easily. Sleep cycles often become really short. They might draw up their legs up to their chest when they cry. You may even experience difficulty with feeding your baby. They jerk their arms and legs around a lot. And overall, they just seem really unsettled and unhappy. You know what you're like when you're tired or exhausted. Babies work the same way. They can't cope when they're not getting the sleep they need. They become overtired, overstimulated. Their little bodies become tense and rigid, and it's really hard for them to relax and calm down. Interestingly, when they do start getting the sleep they need, what you thought might have been reflux, colic, or wind disappears. But not in all cases. So please, don't use this information to diagnose your baby. Remember, if you're worried about your baby's health in any way, see your GP or paediatrician. Now, you may think it's too early for a newborn to start to learn to self-settle at 6 weeks, but actually, this is a wonderful time to start laying down the foundations for healthy sleep habits and to gently teach them how to self-soothe. Self-soothing means your baby can settle to sleep on their own without your help. Babies who can self-soothe sleep for longer periods and have longer total sleep times at night. Babies are designed to sleep. They thrive on sleep. But knowing how to settle and go to sleep doesn't come naturally to a baby. It's a learned skill. We need to gently teach bub. The first 4 weeks with your newborn is all about looking after yourself, getting to know your baby, getting used to feeding and pretty much adjusting to your new life together. After this, you can start to implement the 4 foundations to healthy sleep that we're going to take you through and start teaching your baby to sleep. You can certainly start practicing them in the first 4 weeks. Just don't put any pressure on yourself. You've got enough on your plate. In fact, you can begin to lay the 4 foundations to healthy sleep whenever you're ready. From birth, 4 weeks, 6, or even 8 weeks. It's your choice. And although it's easier to start in the first few weeks, don't worry if you have an older baby who has sleep or routine issues, or if you think they're starting to develop some sleep issues. You can get your baby's sleep back on track by getting the foundations in place. It might just take a little more time to form new sleep habits, but I promise they'll learn. Remember to look for the lesson summary below this video. You'll find extra information links and you can download printable guides to refer back to when you need them.